Okay, this is an updated podcast for week 8. There were some issues with the PHP mailer, so I redid the podcast and the instructions. So we're going to be using PHP mail for week 8, and like most websites have an email sending functionality for forms and stuff. So before uploading to the live server, email functionality needs to be checked on the local server that we're doing this week. The PHP mail function will not work on a local host, so we need to use the PHP mailer, which this can also work on external as well. So we're going to use PHP mailer for helping us send mail. Not only the text email, you can send HTML mail as well. So first thing is you'll want to create a week 8 folder inside of your projects folder for week 8. You want to call it week 8. So if you've called yours Web234, in your projects folder, week 8 is where you want to put it. And so, see here on mine, I created a one called Web290 since I already have a week or a Web234. So there's my Web290 projects week 8. It's empty right now. And we want to download from GitHub the project that's going to have in there all the files that are needed. So I'll click here. It'll download to your downloads folder. What we do once it's downloaded is we'll move the two folders in that download called validate and PHP mail. So there's PHP mail, validate, and I'm going to copy those and move them to my XAMPP directory in Web290, projects, week 8. I'm going to paste them right in here. Inside the validate folder is the files that the home file for index.php. The validate.php is going to be used to validate the email and send the email. And then this one's going to redirect to a thanks page thanking the user for filling out the form. The PHP folder serves for rendering and putting together the email. And the email account we'll be using is Gmail. One of the steps you need to do in Gmail, if you've not already done this, is to log into your Google account, click on this link here, and you want to, from the access to less secure apps section, turn it on. Mine's already turned on. Once you do that, you're going to update the validate.php file with your Gmail and your Gmail password, and then add your full name below here. This is going to be, and by the way, on this one here, if the user doesn't fill out their name, if they do fill out their name, that will go in the your name field. If they do not, your name here will go here. So what this means on this post, this check input post, and then comma, this is a default past the comma if a user doesn't fill out information on a form. Personalize your thank you page by adding an image, and then we'll test it. So let's go ahead and go to mine here. And I'm going to go into validate and the validate.php. And just so this won't be on the video, I'm going to update my Gmail with my Gmail account email. I'm going to update in just a second password as well. And I'll go ahead and put in my name here. And again, this will only go on the receiver end of the email if the person doesn't fill out the field on the form you'll see in a second called your name. Also, if they don't fill out the subject, that is going to be, the default for that is going to be week 8. Okay? So for this test, I'm going to leave on purpose the your name and subject blank on the form and see if that works. So I'm going to pause the podcast. I'll come back after I fill this information out and we'll test it. Okay, I finished putting my credentials in. I want to talk about also this section here. This is for validation using the check input function. In the check input function at the bottom of validate.php, it checks just to see if the input has data. If it doesn't, it displays it to the user. They do not. And if you did put a message here to the right here, it's going to show up. So if they put in your name blank on the form, it'll come back saying enter your name. Subject, same deal. Email and website, catch that down here. It looks for a valid email. If it doesn't, it says enter valid. If they do enter a URL, if it's not valid, it just enters an empty code here. Just empty space, no actual valid website. It's going to be empty. Like it is not validated, so there's no comma here. If I wanted to validate, I'd put in here like this, enter, or maybe choose why you liked it. And that will give me validation for that, but I'm not going to for that one. I don't want validation. So again, validation works 2 ways here. One, if you have a comment after the check input. The first input is the field, second input is the comment you want the user to see. So we've got your name, subject, email and websites checked here. Liked it is not checked. How to find is not checked, meaning they can leave that blank. Enter comments is checked, and color is checked. Okay. Also, down below further, after that's all validated and all the post commands have come in, the email is put together here in an HTML format. So giving the person's name, email, what website they put in, if any, favorite color, did they like the website, how did he or she find out about it. Then here's where the from information is. Here's where you'll change your from, or my from to your from. So this will be your Gmail, this will be your name. Here's where the message is compiled. Finally, the message that's up here. Subject line, what they put on the form. Body, all body is basically if they don't have HTML compatible browser, it says that they need one to view it. This line here, 74, converts it to HTML. Tells it is HTML. 75 adds the address of the user to fill in the form out and their name. Sends it here on the if statement and then relocates it to the thanks folder. So let's go ahead and test it. So there's my week 8. Click on validate. And I'll just go ahead and hit submit and see what happens here. It says enter full name. Subject. I'll put in here week 8. Next, comments. Remember, favorite color is not needed, but I'll go and put that in there anyway. I'll put a valid website in here. Not sure. Yes, no, I'll put yes. How they found Google, and I'll put test here and hit submit. And since I already went to the site earlier, it's going to show this here. And I'll just have this viewed so you guys can see what's happening on the server. You notice here it's just a warning information on line 83 of validate.php. And if we look at line 83, it's the header relocation. So I'll go back. I'll hit enter on this again. We'll fill out a different name now. And the first one should have worked as well. It's just by going back and forth like we did earlier on the validation, you see all of the email or all the code that's being processed when the form is submitted. This time you won't see that. Should go right to the thank you page. There we go. Okay, now let's validate. Let's go to my email and see if those two emails came through. So there's the first one, week 8, and the second one, test. So week 8 has my contact information, my name, email I put in, URL, green, yes. So that's good. And the second one, that's good as well. So that concludes a week 8 podcast. Hope that helped.